Welcome to another video in my Beginner's Guide to Self-Publishing, a book series. Today we are talking all about publishing with Draft2Digital. We're talking about publishing your ebook through Draft2Digital, plus we're also going to be talking about publishing your paperback through Draft2Digital, which is still in the beta phase right now, so there's going to be a few kinks in it, but I still wanted to talk about it because it's an exciting new option for indie authors. In this video, we're going to be talking about all the different places you'll be able to distribute your ebook through using Draft2Digital. We're going to be talking about royalty rates. We'll also be talking about how to print your paperback through Draft2Digital, and then of course a full tutorial on how to upload your book files and set up your book to be published through Draft2Digital. And last but not least, we'll also be talking about universal book links, which is something you'll be able to set up using your Draft2Digital account. My name is Mandi Lynn. I'm an author, book cover designer, and the creator of the Book Launch Planner, and I post weekly videos on the business of being an author. So if that sounds good to you, be sure to hit that subscribe button, the bell notification icon, and let's get started into this video. So before we hop over onto my computer to do a full tutorial on the uploading process, let's first talk about where your book will be distributed. So as far as paperback distribution goes, I'm not completely sure the different avenues your paperback book will be distributed. It might be the same sort of distribution that you get through a company like Ingram Spark. So I'm not going to be talking about that too much today because again, their paperback editions of Draft2Digital are still in the beta phase, meaning you have to actually apply to get accepted. But we'll talk about that in the later video. I wanted to use the beginning of this video to talk about the ebook, and then if you want to know everything about publishing a paperback through Draft2Digital, either watch the whole video or look in the description for the different timestamps. Draft2Digital is a great option for ebook distribution though, because you can publish your book in one platform, Draft2Digital, and then it will be distributed to a bunch of different ebook distributors. You'll be able to publish your ebook to a lot of different platforms, but the big ones that you'll love are Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, Kobo, Overdrive, Baker & Taylor, and a bunch more. Now there is one ebook distributor that is pretty big that is missing from this list, and that is Google Play. So if you want to publish your ebook through Google Play, you're going to have to create an account separately and publish it directly through Google Play, but Draft2Digital does cover all the rest of the big places. So with that said, let's hop on the computer and go through the tutorial of how to upload your book. Okay, so here we are on Draft2Digital. We are under the tab My Books, so you can see all my books here. Now what you will notice is the distribution is actually turned off for all these, or at least in the process of being turned off. And this is because I'm actually in the process of putting all my books on Kindle Unlimited. So in order to do that, I had to first remove all my books from Draft2Digital because you can't have wide distribution when you do Kindle Unlimited. But if you want to know why I decided to switch to Kindle Unlimited, then be sure to stay tuned because I'll be talking about that in a separate video. But here are all of my books. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hit that Add New Book button. And know that a lot of the steps that you have to go through for ebook is also the same for paperback, except when you publish a paperback, you of course need to upload things like the paperback wrap and the interior files. So I'm just going to upload this as if I'm uploading Meet Me at the Summit, which we've done for all of our past tutorials as well. And I'm just going to upload this as if I'm uploading my debut novel again, which is Essence. It's a young adult fantasy novel. So that's the type of info I'm going to input today. So I'm going to hit that I have front cover art, and then I'm going to browse for it on my computer. So I'm just uploading that right there, and here we have the cover art. The book title is Essence, and the series, there is no series. The publisher is Mandi Lynn, which is my name. You can also put in your actual publishing house. For me, that would be Stone Ridge Books. This is where you can put the authors in. So if you did co-authors, you can do that here, which is really nice because I believe Draft2Digital now lets you split royalty rates, which is not something they offered before. I know that was a big thing that Bethany and I had to figure out because we co-authored the Marketing for Authors series, and we didn't know know how to do it in terms of royalty rates, because at the time there wasn't the option to split royalties, so instead we did it where each of us owns one of the books. Rather than each of us owning each book, we kind of chose who the main author was for each book, and the main author was the one who kept the royalties for that book. Whereas now you could actually go ahead and split the royalties completely for every single book. Then we have here language. That's just what language the book is written in. Volume number, if you publish different volumes of the book. Search terms, that is basically your keywords. One of my favorite softwares for picking out keywords and categories is actually Publisher Rocket. I actually am an affiliate, so if you end up wanting to try out the software, be sure to use my affiliate link in the description. I highly recommend this software. It allows you to search out different keywords for your book. It also allows you to search out different categories of your book. I will be doing a full tutorial on how to use Publisher Rocket in a later video, but just know it's a really great piece of software that you can use as an author. Today, because this is just a quick tutorial, I'm just going to put in a quick search term just so you guys can see what you got to do. So I'm just going to put in young adult, and I'm going to put in YA fantasy. I'm going to put in fantasy coming of age. So basically, you just add in all these different search terms until you feel like you've described your book pretty well. And you can reorder them, so whichever ones you think are most important and relevant to your book, you put that one first. Now this down here is your categories. So the one thing with the Publisher Rocket software is that it's very specific to Amazon, but Draft2Digital, we're obviously not just publishing to Amazon. We use BISACS instead, which is just your categories. So basically you want to scroll through here and find your different categories. You can see at the very bottom we have young adult fiction, so I'm going to click that. And now I'm going to do coming of age. And then I see another option in here for fantasy, and there's even more options. So I could do contemporary fantasy, dark fantasy, wizards and witches. I basically just like to click off a whole bunch, and then I come over here later and kind of X out the ones that maybe aren't super relevant. So the wizards and witches ones isn't so much relevant to Essence as it is to I Am Mercy, so I'm going to click that one off. I would say it's probably the most relevant one is fantasy contemporary, and then we have young adult coming of age because it is a coming of age story. The dark fantasy, it could kind of go either way. I'm going to click that out because I feel like I could go through here and find better categories for it. And you can add in a bunch of different categories. Again, I'm not going to go through all of them because I'm just doing a tutorial. So add in a couple more categories to get as specific as you can with your book. So then we come down here and you see two different options to either start an ebook or start a print book. And today we're going to start with the ebook. So from here, this is where you kind of start adding in all your info. Let's start with the manuscripts. So publishing through Draft2Digital is cool because Draft2Digital actually lets you do quite a bit of formatting inside of Draft2Digital. So when you upload your manuscript to Draft2Digital, you want that manuscript to be a Word document, and you want it to be a Word document that has very simple formatting and for it to be just the book. So as you can see right here, I have it starting off with the prologue, and then it jumps into chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and you can actually see all the way down here that then we have after that is this excerpt that's actually from I Am Mercy. So you can start reading the first chapter of I Am Mercy because I Am Mercy is a companion novel to Essence. So this just kind of improves your read-through rate for the rest of your book. So if someone reads Essence and they liked it, odds are they'll also like I Am Mercy if they wanted to start reading that. So basically you can see we just have the content of the book. We don't have so much front matter and back matter. We have a little bit of back matter like the About the Author section and the acknowledgments, but that's it. So that is the file that I'm actually going to go ahead and upload, and you can see it's even labeled Draft2Digital here, and I'm going to hit open. That's going to upload, and then on the next screen we'll be able to play around with it more. This is your release date, so you set it for the future if you want it to be, you know, a pre-order, or you set it for today if you want to publish it right away. Right here is where you paste in your description. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just paste in the description I have for Essence. And I'm just going to make this bold, and then I make the little quotes from readers in italics just to make it a little more interesting to look at. So this is where you would set it up to kind of do the split royalties with your co-author. You would just click this button and follow the instructions. And then you can also add other contributors like illustrators or anything like that. I only recommend adding additional contributors if it's an illustrator for like a children's book, because an illustrator is a big part of the publishing process for a children's book. So from here, you get to choose whether you want a free ISBN that will be provided by Draft2Digital, or if you want to use your own ISBN that you purchase yourself and kind of have access to all the metadata for. I'm just going to click the free ISBN today, but of course, if you click that you have your own ISBN, you would paste that in there. So I'm going to hit save and continue, and we're going to move on to the next step. So this is where we really get to kind of format the book. So this right here is what Draft2Digital is reading as the different chapters of the book. And you can see that the big issue here is that it didn't find the chapters of the book at all. So I'm going to hit this button that says, help, these aren't my chapters, and we'll be able to tell Draft2Digital kind of what our different chapter headers look like so that we can have that layout made correctly. So right now it's kind of just going through, it's scanning, and we'll be able to tell Draft2Digital a little bit more of what to look for. Okay, so here we can see they gave us a few different options after scanning the document a little bit more. We have the prologue and then the different chapters. And then we have this one, instead of picking up the chapter headers, it picked up the names of the chapters, which I don't want. In this case, this is actually the correct one, but I'm just going to scroll through and make sure it's all correct. And as you can see, it is. And you can also see that this looks very similar to the setup that was in Microsoft Word. When we went to the navigation panel, it separated it out by different text styles, and it did the same thing here in Draft2Digital. So I'm making sure that that one is selected, and I'm going to hit submit, and now it's going to fix the preview of our book. Okay, so here we have all of our chapters in there now. Now, this is stuff that Draft2Digital lets you add through Draft2Digital. So, do we want to add in a title page? If we do, we check that off. And a title page is just a page with the title information and the author info. I don't think that's super necessary for eBooks, so I'm going to click that off. I personally think you should have the story of your book start as soon as possible, especially when it comes to eBooks. So I'm not going to do a title page. I am going to do a copyright page because you always should. I am going to do a dedication if the book has a dedication. So you may have noticed that in the manuscript that I uploaded, there wasn't a dedication in that manuscript, but this book actually does have a dedication, and that's where I would write it in here. I think it was to my parents. So I'm just going to write that real quick. And then these are promotional pages, which is super fun because Draft2Digital will actually update these automatically. So if you hit the also buy one, then you will have it so that Draft2Digital will always tell in the ebook what all your books are that are published right now. So we just need to tell them, do we want it at the beginning of the book, at the end of the book, or both? I'm going to say both because I feel like that's your best chance for having people notice it and want to read more of your books. Then we have this new release email notification sign up. So if we just put our little mouse over, it'll tell us a little bit more. And it says Draft2Digital can generate a page at the end of your book inviting readers to sign up for email notifications when you publish any new books. So this is really great, but this is directly through Draft2Digital. So it's an automated thing. What I would do if I was you, instead of doing Draft2Digital's email sign up, I would put your own email sign up at the end of your manuscript. So like say at the end of chapter 35, which is the last chapter in essence, we add a page that just says, want to know when the latest books are coming out by Mandi Lynn, sign up for the newsletter. And that will be my author newsletter, which I have much more control over than I do with Draft2Digital's. And that way you're able to add people onto your email newsletter list and they get emails for everything, not just when you release a new book. And then the teaser, which is really cool. So if you want to check off the teaser, then you'll have an option to select which book you want to add a teaser on to. So I already added it into the manuscript for Essence, but if I didn't do that and this little chapter that says Marseille, France, 1343 wasn't there, then I would click I Am Mercy and I'd be able to have a teaser added into the book automatically. And then we have the bio pages, so we have about the author and about the publisher. So I don't think you really need an about the publisher page, but if you want about the author page, you would just click that off. And then on the back end of Draft2Digital, you're able to add in this info. So as you can see, I already created it and have my info added, but if I didn't, I would add that in here. But again, as you can see, I actually already manually added those into the manuscript that I uploaded to Draft2Digital. So I can again unclick the About the Author page and unclick the teaser page because those are technically already in there. So that's that. Now I'm going to click Save and Continue, and on the next page we'll be able to preview everything. So this is our little preview, so we can kind of click through and see how everything is looking. Now, the great thing about Draft2Digital is that you can actually play around with all their different templates. So these are all the templates right here. So let's try out Modern Watercolor, which is really nice. Corner Decoration, also very nice. Deco. Just click around until you find something that you like. I'm going to try out the different romance ones. So as you can see, there's actually a lot of different options. I'm going to do this digital echo one, and we're just going to play around with things. So we have phrase cap, and you can just play around to see all the different options. I think the drop cap looks best. So you can use these settings to change how the start of a chapter will look, and then these next set of settings is for how the start of a new scene will look. So if you have a scene break in the middle of your chapter, you can choose to either have it start as a drop cap, a phrase cap, or none, which is just regular text. So that is that, and then when you finish and you go through it all and it looks good, you click this I have reviewed the manuscript button, and you can click the Save and Continue button, or you can also go down here and download the Mobi file, you can download the EPUB file, or you can download the PDF file in case you want to test it out in other places, or if you have other places you want to publish your ebook that's not Draft2Digital, you can download the different files you created using Draft2Digital to upload it to other places. Because Draft2Digital is great because you can just upload your Word document and kind of do a little bit of the formatting in Draft2Digital, which is awesome, but I will say it does take a few different tries. You really do have to strip out all the formatting for your Word document in order for Draft2Digital to pick up on the formatting and transfer it correctly over to EPUB. So it works, it's just a little finicky sometimes, but I do love that Draft2Digital does this, and it allows you to download the regular Mobi or EPUB files. So once you're all done, you hit that Save and Continue button, and we're going to move on to royalties and distributions. So we start off up here, and we're going to put in how much we want our book to be. So I'm going to do $3.99 because that's just what I always do all my ebooks at. You can also click this Manage Tutorial Prices. So if you want to manage the individual pricings for different locations in the world, you can do that here. In order to change a price, you just click a little box, and then you'll be able to type and make the changes. And then once you make those changes, you hit Apply Territories. I'm just going to hit Cancel right now. So as you can see, we typed in the price, so then it kind of filled in all down here. So we have digital stores, which is Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple, and these other places. And this is telling you what your projected royalties are. And then we have Amazon. So Amazon is a little tricky, and you can see they have a note here. Amazon strictly monitors content submissions. Don't select Amazon distribution if your book is already available in digital form at Amazon. So basically what this is telling you is that don't check off the little Amazon box if you already published your book through Kindle Direct Publishing. But if you don't plan on publishing your book through Kindle Direct Publishing and you only plan on doing it through Draft2Digital, then you check on this box and it gives you a few little prompts. So you just need to click these off. I confirm that I am not publishing this book directly through Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing service. So Check. I understand that I cannot delist this title until the content is reviewed by Amazon and listing is complete. Check. I certify that the content included within this manuscript is not freely or readily available online. Check. I certify that I have all necessary rights to publish this content to Amazon through Draft2Digital service. Check. So basically, if you're not publishing your book through Kindle Direct Publishing and you are publishing it through Draft2Digital, you're able to check off all those boxes. If you did already publish your book through Kindle Direct Publishing, you cannot also publish it through Draft2Digital. It does not like it. It will screw it up, and I think you'll get in big trouble. So if you want to publish your book through Kindle Direct Publishing, that's fine. Just don't check off this Amazon box on Draft2Digital. So then moving on, we have subscription services, which is Scribd. I honestly love Scribd. I've been a subscriber before for many, many months, and I loved it. So if you choose to do Draft2Digital, highly recommend doing Scribd. And then we have Kobo Plus, so you can just check that off, and they have the different territories. And then we have library services. It auto prices it at $7.99, so I personally have always kept it at $7.99, but if you want to do more testing on that, be sure to do that. We have the different library services here. You can see your different royalty rates as well. I don't know a whole lot about Hoopla. As you can see, Hoopla has the lowest royalty rate, so I don't know if you want to proceed with caution, but it does say it's in beta testing phase as well, so take that for what you will. And then this Remember My Store Preferences button is just so if you have a very specific type of distribution that you like and you set it up and you like it, check off this box, and the next time you publish a book, it will all autofill and you won't have to mess with it. So from there, once you fill all that out, you just hit the little submit button. And then it's basically just a copyright question. Are you the original creator of the content? Have you secured the right, or is this book public domain? 9 times out of 10, you're the original creator of the content, and then you click the little I confirm button, and then you hit publish my book. Now, it does take some time for your book to actually publish. So this is the version of Essence that I actually did once upon a time publish. As you can see, it says in angry red letters, delisted. Now, when you eventually publish it, you'll be able to go down here and see where your book is published. So you can see it used to be published on all these different platforms. And when you're in the publishing process, you'll have 2 different lists. You'll have a little list that says published, and then you'll have a little list that says pending. So pending is just places that are working on the distribution, but the book isn't actually officially published yet. Now, when your book is officially published, anytime you want to grab exact links for any of these books, you would just click, and then it would open a new window to your book. Now, you can see that I did that with Scribd, and you can also see that this is actually currently unavailable because it was published through Scribd, but now it is no longer because it's just on Kindle now. And you can also see your projected royalty rates, the listing price. You can change the listing price here. You can change the listing price to like the normal listing price that will be permanent, or you can run a sale and you can kind of schedule in when that price will be scheduled. Now, moving on to the universal book links, that's what this is right here. So this right here is my universal book link. In order to pull this up, I need to just find it right here. That is what this link is. So here is the universal book link for my book. Ironically, if you click any of these, it will lead you to nowhere because the book is no longer listed for sale at any of these locations. But this is a great link that you can use to promote your book because you don't know what your readers' preferences are. So instead of sending them to Amazon or to Barnes & Noble or to iBooks or to Apple, you can just send them to this link and they get to choose where they want to shop for their book. Now, how do you create your own universal book link? It's super easy. Draft2Digital has a website called bookstoread.com, and all you do is you find your book on one retailer website, you paste the link in, and then you click the Make My Universal Link button, and it will go ahead and create this link for for you that you'll be able to use at all times. It's super easy to do. Now let's talk about paperbacks through Draft2Digital. So I'm going to show you how you can start making a paperback for your book. So basically we have Essence here, and if I want to start making a paperback for my book, I have to click the print book option, and then for me it says start your print book, but for you, if you've never done this before, it'll be a different button that says add me to the wait list. Because the print editions are still in the beta phase, you actually have to get added to the wait list, and then they'll eventually allow you access to it. But it's not something that everyone has access to. It's first come first serve sort of basis. So if you want to try out their print edition, sign up now so you'll be able to get it later. So I'm going to hit the start your print book option. So this is what you would do once you're allowed access. And because I already uploaded my book as an ebook, we already have a lot of the info in here. So it actually has my ebook file already in here. So it allows you to either use your ebook file and they will kind of do the formatting for you and format it into a print book, or you can upload your own print interior. I personally recommend uploading your own print interior, but just to show you what I mean, we're gonna stick with the ebook file that is already in Draft2Digital. As you can see, we've got all the same info. We have all the descriptions, and then down here you can see the same sort of info that I was talking about in the ebook phase, where you can add in your copyright page, your dedication, your also by, your new release notification sign up. This is all stuff I had checked off for my ebook for Essence when it was published, so that info already autofills. And then again, we have the ISBNs. I'm just going to hit the free ISBN since we're doing an example. Do note, like it says right here, your ebook and print ISBN do not match. They can't match. You have to have a different ISBN for each edition of your book. And then one thing I also found out, because I actually ordered a print edition of my book through Draft2Digital, is that if you click this I have my own ISBN button, and you paste in the ISBN, and the ISBN has already been used for a different print book, they will actually reject your manuscript. So let's say you published your book through Ingram Spark, or you published your print book through Kindle Direct Publishing, like it's just on Amazon. The ISBN that you use to publish your book on Amazon and the ISBN that you use to publish your book on Draft2Digital have to be two different ISBNs. I learned that the hard way. So that's actually pretty different than the way it works when you publish through Kindle Direct Publishing and Ingram Spark. In that case, if you have your book on Ingram Spark and Kindle Direct Publishing, you have to have the same ISBN so they link up correctly. But in this case, with Draft2Digital, they want a different ISBN. So you need one ISBN to print your book through Draft2Digital, and then another ISBN to print your book through Kindle Direct Publishing. So just be mindful of that. Today, we're going to do a free ISBN through Draft2Digital. Okay, so here is the preview of our print book, and keeping in mind, again, they formatted this book based on the ebook file that was already provided to Draft2Digital. So it's not necessarily how I would want it to look, but I want you guys to see what it would look like if you use Draft2Digital's formatting option. So here we have the copyright page, and then we turn the page, we have the also by page, and this is kind of what I mean, because if it were me, and when I do front matter like this, I would actually have this first page be a title page, which I could probably change through Draft2Digital if I went back. So I would want this first page to be a title page, I'd want the copyright page here, and then I'd want the also by page here. So it's just a little bit more finicky. Let's turn the page. We have the dedication. Again, I would want the dedication on the right side, not the left. And then we have the cover art, and that's because I uploaded the cover art to the ebook file. So obviously this is what I mean by when you use Draft2Digital's formatting features, you kind of have to see how Draft2Digital is reading it, and then you modify your Word document, you re-upload the Word document, and then you kind of let it load again into Draft2Digital and see what it looks like. Now, I will say you can play around with a lot of different things. We can play around with the trim size. We have a few different trim sizes here. We can play around with the paper color. As you can see, we have a preview of what the cream paper will look like. I did order a print edition of one of my books through Draft2Digital, and I'll do an unboxing here on my YouTube channel to show you guys what it looks like. So if you want to see the quality, just stay tuned, because we'll see kind of if their cream paper is really this ugly of a cream shade, or if the white is maybe a better option. So formatting your book in Draft2Digital for their print editions is a little different, because when you need to make changes, we're going to do a few different changes. We're going to change the template that we're going to change the template style. We're going to include a table of contents, and we're going to change the page numbers to starting on prologue. Anytime you make any changes to the right, you need to hit apply changes, and the page reloads, and it takes a little bit. So we're going to be a little patient, but it's a little finicky, as you can see. But again, it's the beta version. All right, so our changes applied. Let's click through. So we can see the template style here, which is subtle hearts. So that's kind of cute. Not matching the book at all, but you guys get the idea. And now we can see our table of contents here, and it matches up to the page numbers in the book. And you can see that the page numbers start down here with page 1, but then we have the page numbers switching to the top of the book and to being the header rather than the footer, which I personally am not a fan of. But let's see if we can change that. So we have header location. Right now it's set for top, all but the first page in the chapter, and that's just referring to this. You can see right here that we don't have a header when it's the first page of the chapter, which is how it should be. So we also have that the page number location is at the top. I don't like that. I like the page number being at the bottom, and the chapter page number location is at the bottom, or you can set it for none. In fiction, I like when the chapter pages have no header or footer, so I'm going to click none, and I'm going to hit apply changes so we can see what it looks like. Okay, so now you can see that we changed it, so our page numbers are at the bottom, and we have no header and no footer at the start of the chapter. So let's move on to chapters and scenes. So as you can see, one of the big issues right now is that the chapter is starting on the left side of the page. We want the first chapter, or in this case the prologue of the book, to start on the right side. And unfortunately, Draft2Digital doesn't have that option. You can see we have this box to start all chapters on the right side, which is great, but I personally think that's a waste of paper. I feel like it only matters for the first chapter to start on the right side, and then after that, I don't care. I'd rather save paper than have every single chapter start on the right side. So that's another little bummer there, is that we can't edit just one chapter. We have to edit all of them. But for whatever reason, I don't think it actually applied, because I have that and it's actually not applying. So again, software's a little finicky. And then this is how we can edit the body text. We can check whether or not we want to have hyphenation in the book. I actually don't like when there's hyphenation in a book. I think it's ugly. And then we have widow and orphan control, which is something that you do to edit the text so you don't have just one random word hanging on a line by itself. So you can actually see that here. We have the word it all by itself. I don't know how well this works, because as you can see, we have a word all by itself right now, and it's already kind of set for 2. So I'm not sure why that's happening. So I personally don't think Draft2Digital's formatting feature for their print books is all that great. I think it's way too much frustration for the quality of what you see here. So I'd recommend uploading your own files, a PDF that's already perfectly formatted, so you don't have to worry about finicking with this. But we're gonna go ahead and just continue so you guys can see all the different steps. So moving on to the cover, you can see that Draft2Digital kind of created a cover wrap for me using the information that I've given them. They added a spine, they added my old author photo, my bio, the about the book. I honestly, again, I don't think it's worth messing around with all this. I think you should get something professionally designed. And to show you what I mean, I'm actually going to hop over to Meet Me at the Summit, which is the book I printed through Draft2Digital, so you guys can see what that looks like. So this is what I uploaded to Draft2Digital for Meet Me at the Summit. As you can see, it's much better looking, and we have the first chapter starting off on the right-hand page. And you can see it just looks better. So let's move on to the cover so you can see what that looks like as well. So this is the cover I uploaded to Draft2Digital. Again, as you can see, it's way better than what Draft2Digital supplies to you. If we hit this box, we can see all the different crop lines, so we can double check that none of the text is in this blue area or the red area where it's actually going to crop. And as you can see, all this is grayed out now because I uploaded a custom document. And the way I created this was that you can go ahead and click this download blank template button, and then you open that template up in Photoshop and do your editing from there. You export it as a PDF and you will have it uploaded right here. So now we're going to move on to price. So this is fun because we have this really cool 3D preview of our book, but this is also like the biggest bummer. So we have projected royalties here, and I have the print book price is $12.99, which is the price customers will pay to buy the book. But if I price the book at $12.99, I only get paid 49 cents. And normally if I price my book at $12.99 through other distributors, I get paid $3 or somewhere around there. So obviously, it's way more expensive to print your book through Draft2Digital. This might just be because they are so new to printing paperbacks, so it's more expensive to print paperbacks. I don't know if this will change in the future, but as of right now, their royalty rates for their paperbacks are not great. But if you don't care about that, then you can just go ahead and click off, again, the copyright things and that you confirm that you understand. And then you'd hit save and continue. And from here, you either click that you want to proof your book using a digital proof, which is kind of what we went through, or you can order a physical copy of your book. And as you can see, to order a physical proof of your book, it costs $30 for one proof copy, which is much more expensive than other print-on-demand companies. Other print-on-demand companies, you just pay whatever it costs to print your book. Whereas Draft2Digital, for proof copies, they charge more for that one copy of the book. So I'm actually still waiting for my print copy of my book to come in the mail, but when I do get it, I'll do a full unboxing here on YouTube. I'm actually extremely excited about getting this proof copy in the mail because I feel like Draft2Digital's print editions are the biggest wild card out of all of the different distributors that are out there right now. So be sure to subscribe so you can see that video when it comes out. Otherwise, that is it for today. Let me know what you think of Draft2Digital's print options down below. I think it's a good start. There's definitely a lot of changes that need to be made, but I can see that they are trying to work with authors. And frankly, I'm excited because if they are able to kind of work out the kinks in their print copies, and if they can also manage to make it so that authors make more royalties in their print editions, it would be amazing because I'm also hoping this means that they might do pre-orders for their print books as well. But I'm not sure if they're at that stage yet. But either way, this is exciting news for authors, and I can't wait to see what they produce for their print copies down the line. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and comment down below. If you want additional content, be sure to join as a YouTube member because I post exclusive monthly videos where I talk about goal setting and my income. Otherwise, that is it for today, and I will see you all next week.